And here in Connecticut, over 77,000 living with the disease and 178,000 caregivers. That's a lot. How do we help serve and tackle these numbers? While researchers are hard at work, our volunteers are our engine. People are saying how amazing this is, how many people are here. It's because of all of you, it's all the volunteers. Our volunteers are the engine, and I want to recognize groups like our Women's Champion, which you'll see on the board, Statewide Walk Leaders, Longest Day, Medical Scientific Advisory Council, Program and Education Leaders, Diversity, Public Policy, Board of Directors are advancing, helping us with all these groups. These are volunteers in our state and across the country. Betty Brennan, who is going to be, actually has been our chair for the last 2 years. This is her last gala as board chair, has really helped support me, and I want to thank you, Betty. We've been on a lot of roadshow meetings, and I'm so grateful. She just goes where I say, Betty, we've got a great meeting, and she's like, let's go. The Alzheimer's Association is the largest nonprofit funder of research and care and support. We are celebrating our recent $414 million increase in research funding at NIH signed into law, and because of our advocacy efforts, we cannot do it alone. It takes a community, like here in Connecticut and Fairfield County, to come together and move our cause, which will inspire others to do more, and you've proven to do that. You are all doing that here tonight by showing up and caring about our cause. This year we are recognizing individuals who have helped us make advancements in 3 of our pillars in our strategic plan. Sponsorship.
Please.
I promise that the talking will be brief and then we will continue. Sponsorship, philanthropic leadership, advancing research, and advancing care and support. Now it's my honor to ask Kristen Marangino to do our first recipient award.
Good evening. 6 years ago, when we embarked on this Celebrating Hope journey, we literally had no clue what to expect. With about 4 months to plan the event, and literally next to no money to plan it with, we were more than a little hesitant. Would people care? Would people show up? Would people buy tickets? So there was only one place to start, and that's hit up our friends for money. So one of my friends was Rich Branoff. I told Rich we were planning a cocktail party. We really didn't know what it was going to be, what was happening, but we needed people to sponsor it. And I had no idea how much to ask him for. So I threw out $1,500. And Rich said, sure. That inaugural year, in a 2-hour cocktail party, we raised $100,000. So the following year, I asked Rich for another $100,000. But this time, his response wasn't sure. His response was, Kristen, I don't understand. Why aren't you asking me for more money? Well, you literally only have to say that once. Since that initial $1,500, Rich has come back year after year, and now has donated $50,000 to this event. His financial generosity is clear, but we want to thank Rich for his generosity of spirit. Rich has never been a part of this event for the recognition. He's never asked what's in it for him. He simply jumped on board with his typical charismatic, rich enthusiasm in the hopes of making a difference. And clearly, he has. Because we've come a long way from those $100,000 beginnings. So tonight, as we approach our $2 million mark, it is my pleasure and my honor to present Rich Branoff with our Sponsorship Commitment Award.
Thank you, Kristen. You rock. Keep going.
is someone who has literally been absolutely, everyone needs to be quiet because you need to hear this, integral to the success of this event. Whether she's co-chairing it, she's sitting on the leadership committee, Ginge Cabrera is quite literally a force to be reckoned with. And it has been such an honor and such a pleasure to be by her side for these past several years. So, welcome, Ginge.
This is not about me. This is about you all and this amazing organization that we're all supporting here tonight. And the award that I am presenting is for the advancement in research. And the Alzheimer's Association is the respected leader and the single largest nonprofit funder of international research, which is a big deal. That's a really big deal. Alzheimer's Association plays such a huge role in advancing the direction and funding of cure, of care, day-to-day care, of advancing what happens on the Hill, and especially in research. Unbelievable strides in research, and none of that could happen. None of that could happen if we did not advance fundraising domestically, internationally, and that's where we thank all of you. You guys all deserve a round of applause for what you're doing to help with research. But tonight I want to draw special thanks to my dear friends, Kate and Jim Clark. Kate and Jim Clark have been amazing supporters of this event. They've been patrons of this event for years and years. But they also took time over the past several years to really dig in and learn about the association and learn what the association does for research. And they realized that this is the place where they want to focus some energy to help find a cure for Alzheimer's disease. They're amazing people, they're amazing supporters throughout town, and we could not thank you enough for making a commitment to be partners with us in advancing the fundraising for research. So Kate and Jim Clark, thank you so much.
And I just want to say, we would not have done any of this, or be up here, but for Ginge Cabrera. We love her, and she is the best.
Good evening. The Alzheimer's Association recognizes Dr. Stephen Jones for his contribution to advancing care and support for those affected by Alzheimer's disease. Dr. Jones has made notable contributions in advancing the field through his participation in lecture series and panel discussions as a valued member of the Connecticut Chapter's Board of Directors, as well as a Medical Scientific Advisory Council. His commitment to improving the lives of people with Alzheimer's disease and other dementias is inspiring. Dr. Jones has helped lead the way as a physician, champion, and expert in the field. We honor him for his passion, leadership, and dedication. Whether in his work at the hospital, leadership roles, or mentorship, Dr. Jones has had a lasting impact on the field and has demonstrated a lifetime commitment towards progress against Alzheimer's disease. Congratulations, Dr. Stephen Jones.
I promise you I'll be super quick here. I am so grateful for this and so unworthy. I was speaking to Eleanor yesterday saying, I don't know how you decided to pick me, but I suggest that you need to look at your selection committee next year, because there are so many people more deserving than me, but I am honored and thrilled to be able to stand here before you. Very, very quickly, I just want to touch on three brief things. One is the Alzheimer's Association. The next is a little bit about where we are today with this disease. And most importantly, I want to speak a little bit about you. So, I have been affiliated with the Alzheimer's Association in some capacity for the last 22 plus years. And I can't think of an organization that is more important, meaningful, and needed today than the Alzheimer's Association. It is an amazing organization. I've watched it evolve over the last 2 decades. The Connecticut chapter is a star. It's a leader in this country. And the leadership from Eleanor and her team is just amazing. And we in Connecticut should be incredibly proud and blessed that we have this. And I'll remind you too about the disease itself. I began my work in geriatrics back during the Civil War. But seriously, for about 25 years I've been involved doing this. And it's hard to put in perspective how much things have changed. It's kind of like a picture of your children. You know, you pull it out a few months later and like, when did this happen? It's been like that for me with Alzheimer's. When I think back to early on in my career, we have come a very, very long way. We're not where we want to be yet, but we have made significant strides, in large part due to the Alzheimer's Association. This disease is devastating, as you know. It is the disease of aging populations. It's not a normal part of aging, but I want this to be put in perspective. The question I get most often asked is, will there be a cure and when will it be? And I can't answer the when, but I can say with confidence that we will put an end to this. The same as we put an end to smallpox, same as we put an end to polio. Smallpox has killed more people than any infectious disease in history. When that was at its height, no one would imagine we would have eradicated it. It was done. We can do this, it will happen. I don't know when, but it will happen. In terms of the disease itself, it's a disease of aging populations, and to put this in perspective, the average age in this country right now is approaching 80. 100 years ago, it was 47. Back in 1790, during the first U.S. Census, the average age was 25. It's amazing. So if you think about this, people living, and think about this last fact, of all the people, try to think about this, of all the people who have ever lived to be 65 years or older, half of them are alive today. Half of them are. So this disease now is a reflection of our society. And if we do not get our hands around this, this will be a catastrophe of epic proportions. Ken Blackwell talks about the age wave. This is a tsunami. It will impact us medically, economically, and socially. We need to get our hands around this. It's so important, and this work is so important. So let me finish up by speaking about you. And you heard Eleanor talk about the numbers. We have 6 million people almost in this country touched by this disease, but it's much more than that, because it's not just the people who have the disease, it's the families that are touched about this as well. So the numbers are extraordinary. And literally everybody has been touched by this. Many of you have been touched by this very personally, directly. And my struggle has not only been to care for people, but to care for the caregivers. And it's important for you to recognize how important you are and how important it is for you to care for yourselves as well and the role you play. And we need in this country to recognize the role of the caregivers and support them as well. And again, that's what the OWS is. So I want to thank you for the work you've done, because although I'm getting the award, you guys are the ones in the field doing the day-to-day activities and moving us along. And I'm going to ask you to commit to moving this forward, supporting the Alzheimer's Association like you're supporting it tonight. Spend every dollar you can tonight, continue to support it through your government. We are not spending nearly enough money on supporting research. For every $100 we spend in supporting this disease in terms of care, we're spending less than a penny in research. We need to do a lot better, and we will. So thank you to you. And I would say to you, go change the world, make this a better place. It's going to happen. It's going to happen soon. And thank you. And I will accept this award on behalf of all the patients and family members that I've had the privilege of being a part of in their lives in my work. So thank you so much, and God bless all of you.
Hi everyone, I'm Dr. Allison Ostroff, the Director of Geriatrics at the Stanford Hospital. I'm here tonight to support Alzheimer's disease. It's what I do for a living, but it also touches me very personally. I have a 67-year-old mother who unfortunately is in the later stages of Alzheimer's disease. So I approach this both from a doctor perspective and from a family member perspective. Okay. So it's my great pleasure tonight, sorry about that, to introduce Beth Stiles. Beth is a versatile producer, composer, musician, vocalist, and painter whose work is devoted to bringing people together through the power of love and music. Beth founded the New World Chorus, a 30-voice community interfaith choir based in Stamford, where she produces inspirational events throughout the year. She has collaborated with diverse houses of worship, clergy, and leadership of many spiritual paths to produce compelling annual multi-faith events, including the Thanksgiving service, A Time to Be Grateful, and Season of Miracles, a joyful celebration of spring. She's also the creator of the Living Voice Project, which sources inspiring programs of the arts for people living with a form of dementia, such as Alzheimer's. As an award-winning writer, arranger of Jewish liturgical and contemporary spiritual music, Beth's work can often be heard at world-class synagogues, including Park Avenue Synagogue, where several of her pieces for cantor and choir, both contemporary and traditional, have been commissioned and introduced. She also created the Shabbat Experience, a unique and transformative journey of peace, music, and meditation. Most recently, Beth was the 2017 New Cage Emerging Artist winner, as well as one of the recipients of the 2016 Shalshelet Award for New Jewish Music. Beth has written an extensive catalog of original music, ranging from contemporary spiritual, Jewish liturgical, gospel, jazz, R&B, theater, folk, and funk to film scoring and children's music. She has worked with artists including Diana Ross and Ronnie Spector. Her multimedia production studio is located in Stamford, Connecticut, and gives life to creative visions and dreams. With passionate spiritual roots, as well as a long-time education and transformational studies, Beth's music is designed to touch and inspire. Ladies and gentlemen, Beth Stiles.
Truly a privilege to be with you here tonight and to introduce this song. I became involved with the Alzheimer's Association because I was personally touched, as my father had Alzheimer's and passed away in 2012. And I met Eleonora actually because of my friend Rosalie Fisher, who approached me about creating a project for the community that would inspire and support people living with dementia, and it just rang true for me to do that. And so then we created this project with the GAP group to create a song that would be based on their words and their experience, and it was really important to be authentic to their experience. So the name of the song tonight is called Life is Beautiful, which we're going to play for you in a moment. And now it is my great pleasure to introduce Abby Mueller. Abby recently concluded her run starring as Carole King in Beautiful on Broadway. She's also been seen on Broadway in Kinky Boots and A Minister's Wife at Lincoln Center, as well as numerous regional theaters across the country. It's a joy to be with you tonight.
Thank you for having me. I'm truly honored.
There's so much to live for. There's beauty every day. The smell of the ocean, the touch of a hand, and music will endure. So sing a new song, be happy, be strong, 'cause this I know for sure. Life is beautiful. Look into my eyes. You'll see memories, golden summer skies. And though I may not remember things that used to be, life is beautiful when you remember me. Life is beautiful when you remember me.
Happy Mueller.
I had the great privilege of being part of that group and brings back very pleasant memories. But on behalf of the Gap group, help us share this song with the world. Life is beautiful. Thank you.
Good evening. I hope everyone can keep quiet tonight as we do our announcements. We've got a lot of great things planned tonight. My name is Jeffrey Rudin. I'm a board member of this fine chapter. At this point, I'd like to introduce Duncan Sheep, who will be our auctioneer tonight and also doing a lot of the discussion.
Thank you very much. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. How are we this evening? Come on, come on. It's a Friday night. It's a beautiful night in Riverside. How are we this evening? Right. I'll tell you what, ladies and gentlemen, it's an amazing night and we are all here for an important cause. Most of the people here are here because they've been affected in some way or another by Alzheimer's. One day we'd like to have that, instead of celebrating hope, just say celebrating.
That's right.
Is that right?
My name is Richard Blumenthal, and I'm here with a great colleague and friend, Jim Himes. My congressman, hopefully your congressman, I'm your United States Senator, and the real celebrity in the evening is Max Rosenberg, who is a great champion and a wonderful advocate. And I will tell you, I am here because of Max. And Max is here because of his grandmother, whom I have met, a wonderful lady, and we are all here to urge you to continue. It's not to enlist you because you're here because you support, but continue and sustain and enhance what you are doing to fight Alzheimer's, which is, in my view, the #1 public health challenge in the United States today. Thank you for being here. And I am here, I'm going to turn it over to Jim in just a moment, but we have an auction item. We have an auction item, which is breakfast in the United States Senate dining room. Breakfast in the United States Senate dining room. It happens to be with me. And right after or during breakfast, we go to the floor of the United States Senate, where nobody is supposed to go except for senators, but we kind of sneak on because it's before 9 a.m. And then you also get a tour of the Capitol after the breakfast, and you get to do it with as many people as you'd like, up to about 6, 8. And it's good whenever it's convenient for you, as long as I'm a United States Senator. Right? But I was reelected about a year and a half ago, so we got 4.5 years to go, and it's on me. It's on me, it's not on the taxpayer. So that's the deal. We're gonna auction it off in just a moment. The limit is $2,000, but I'm gonna now ask a great champion and a wonderful friend, Jim Himes, to say a couple words.
Good evening, everybody, and thank you, Senator, thank you, and thank you all. It's been a long night, you've heard some beautiful music, you've had a long auction. I just want to say one thing. I do not need to tell you about the challenge that we face. I do not need to tell you about the $250 billion a year we spend caring for people with this horrid disease. I sure don't need to tell you about the human tragedy. What I do need to tell you is that you've got Senator Blumenthal, you've got Congressman Himes, I saw Jim Marpy of Westport, I saw Chris Perrone of Norwalk. These public officials are here, and this you do need to hear, because the Alzheimer's Association is unparalleled in their ability to tell the story with the urgency and the passion that is required to someday end this disease, to invest the research funds, to pass the bills, and to do the work that will allow us to come together some years from now to say, we beat Alzheimer's. Thank you for supporting this amazing organization.
Right, amazing, ladies and gentlemen. This is it. The senators in the House. We have the last item now to go. And it's weird because I've got a limit. So, who's got their first hand here at $2,000? Oh. Yeah. So, ladies, in first hand at $2,000. Sold! That's how quick that auction was, ladies and gentlemen. This lady down here purchased it for $2,000. Unless you want to do another breakfast. Do another one if you'd like to have another breakfast. It's up to you, though. Yep. Sold, 2,000, so that's 4,000.
2 breakfasts, and Jim will do one.
Jim will do one as well.
Too.
Excellent. Ladies and gentlemen, a round of applause. Thank you.
And thank you to Max Rosenberg and to his parents who are here tonight.
So, ladies and gentlemen, please get out your phones this time. Get out your phones. You would have got a text message. For those of you who didn't participate in the auction. So, ladies and gentlemen, I've got a small role to play, but I do need your help. And I do understand it's a wonderful night. You want to talk with your friends and have a great time. We all do. But please come forward. I'd like everyone to be able to step themselves forward, even if you're not going to bid or participate in the auction, because you've done a fantastic job as it is by being here. You've bought a ticket, you've got a babysitter, you've got a dog sitter. You might have